Welcome back. We're here to cover the Divine Masculine update, and we do have some astrological input into this, really in the context of how it's directly going to be. Funny thing, I was about to say implicate your twin flame path, impact really, and really to get that navigation system going so you know directly what is up with the Divine Masculine, how they're directly dealing with the energy, and how this energy in eclipse energy can directly impact the connection. Now, we are going to get straight into the update. Number one is the eclipse is going to be occurring. Let's get the date for you. And there was some context I really wanted to mention. For those of you that don't know, I'm your host, Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. And the date is on the 7th of September. It's going to be a total lunar eclipse. Now, I do want you guys to be really prepared for this eclipse. Is because in the context of things, this is the first eclipse in the nodes with Pisces, okay? And what do I mean by that? Last year we had an eclipse in Pisces, but the nodes weren't sitting in Pisces. This is officially the first nodal eclipse of the set. So how will it directly impact the path? It will be incredibly interesting, and we'll cover it within this update. Now, the Divine Masculine's cards are up on the screen. Their energy really at this point in the game is going to be quite psychological. There is a lot of closing cycles for the Divine Masculine between now and next year, and this will be a pivotal one. It has been a very psychological year, and they're having to show up in very different ways within their life. Emotions and subjects to do with the past, definitely, and where they feel they directly belong, especially situations linking to their childhood. Now, we do have the crowning energy here with the walking in their truth. And the first message I got was, how do I walk in my truth? And it did appear to be this week in the mix, especially considering we are moving into the first week of September and we are moving into the energy. This can be complicated, and I think we all need to directly be gentle with ourselves. This can be within our own personal inner masculine frequency, as well as the direct Divine Masculine. So there could be some context of difficulty. There could be some context of how do we wrap up the past in order to have a new beginning. And it can be a circumstance externally that is occurring that is changing the trajectory. Now, I'm feeling as though this individual is well aware of what the difficulty is, and it could be social responsibilities. It might be emotions associated to what directly is in front of them, and there can be some financial entanglements as well as I do think this individual is looking at a karmic situation, and it doesn't have to be a romantic situation. For some of you, if you do know your twin is not in a karmic relationship, it more than likely is a cycle connected to their, how could I put it, development process. So sometimes we do get twins that aren't directly in a karmic relationship, but they're moving through an ascension stage. So for some, yes, it can be that. And we do see this person coming up this week with having this revelation to do with the fact that they're in awareness that they want to. They're in awareness of where they're out of alignment, but it could be due to an external circumstance. The other thing is sometimes we do, especially for those of us that do follow astrology, we may get pointers and advice from particular individuals. Other times it can be that the way that we directly deal with that energy can be quite tactical. So it may be that it's showing up in the energy relating to our zodiac sign and it's saying you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. But it may be that you're forced to due to a circumstance. And I'm really getting this context with this individual this week. It might be something is forced. It's very frustrating. They could be dealing with it. And, you know, sometimes that forced energy is what forces our hand. And it's interesting. We have this person's hand up saying, hey, you know, I'm really stuck in between a rock and a hard place here. This is really frustrating me. Now, where we do have the past, I feel as though it could have been that they did want to get into balance. It might have been that there is some sort of a spiritual context they're actually referencing. And it can be the connection to do with who they're intimately connecting with, what they're feeling is resonating with them more so, what they, who they want to create a nest with, what they want to build up in their life. Now, there can be some conflict to do with creativity. And for some of them, it could be that they are having this burst of creativity and they're having this vibration where they want to bust out, do things that feel more resonate with them, but they do have a lot of social responsibilities. I'm also feeling from a co-creative connection, there could be an entanglement for some in some description where it does link to tribe, family, children, or a karmic with that situation going on. We're noticing the spider on the card. We're noticing the yellow coming through and the dragon energy. So from an ascended point of view, I do feel if they go into their heart, it is something subconscious they know, especially if they're searching for the answers. I feel they do have, it's like they're trying to confront something that they know is long overdue for confronting. And I do feel there is this anger directed towards a particular individual who they believe is lying in the context of something. And we do see this person, it's almost like it's very much out in the open. It could be somebody has said something to them. It might be that their intuition has told them. It could have been gossip through the grapevine. But nevertheless, I do see that they're really looking at this person like they know the truth, but it's really the courage to acknowledge what a circumstance is. Now, I do feel for some, as soon as I saw this card, I saw that whatever is going down this week, it is the catalyst. And I do believe that as they are moving through this week, there is something that directly comes out. There's something that shifts. And even though they've come out the gate really saying, hey, how the heck do I actually walk in my truth? I do feel there's an external circumstance that pops off or something directly inside the karmic relationship that does cause a sudden shake-up. And we do have sort of like the divorce card here. This is if there is a entanglement of some description, be it it's a job or a romantic connection, we do have this card in reverse, and it feels as though regardless of their spiritual belief systems and maybe their intentions to do the correct thing, it does appear to be that there is something where they feel they really do have to address the elephant in the room, and this could also entail separation. For some, it does appear to be that they're feeling as though they did co-create with the wrong individual. Co-creation doesn't have to be physically, having a family or anything to that degree. It's almost like the nest domain and, hooking up with someone, ending up with them inside home, trying to build a life with this person. It doesn't feel like it's conducive anymore. It does feel like they've outgrown that circumstance. And even at the foundation level, we can see this person taking like deep breaths, and there can be some gut issues that they're going through this stress and frustration of the circumstance. But I do feel they're holding firm. They're very much trying to move beyond this circumstance. And I feel they're really getting into alignment of it. And I feel, again, something is happening that is actually causing this person to acknowledge the feelings they're having and acknowledge the direction that they want to go. The throat chakra also is showing up where, sometimes saying less is more. And I do feel that whatever this approach is that they're taking, I do feel they're being very quiet about it. But I'm also seeing that they're kind of in this mindset that, how can I explain it? They feel they're going to be more successful if they're grounded. They feel as though how they're going to address this is by being grounded, by being rational. And I think however they're tactically approaching it, it does appear to be that it's going to work. But I also feel as though this can be them wanting to change the physical environment. It can be, for some of them, I'm seeing them outside and doing gardening or outside and meditating. And it does feel there is a context connecting to a physical home and not feeling comfortable within it or needing to change. It's almost like as soon as they get home, they're getting very tired or they feel extremely uncomfortable. And they're really reflecting upon the future and what they want it to look like. It's funny because whatever this ending is, be it it's a contract, partnership, or a physical connection, it's almost like they're overcoming the temptation of the devil card. And they're going back to a person who they directly feel more resonates with them. Some of them, I do feel they're going to make a wish upon a star. There could be something quite, this could be a memory that they held with the divine feminine, and even a night conversation, a deep conversation that once was had. Let's take a look. But I'm definitely saying from this outcome card, we do have them wanting to be grounded. And really, again, I do see them wanting this to be wrapped up by the end of the year. They feel everything has taken so long this year, and it has been really withering them and aging them. But again, something that's very, very deeply on their mind. We see the color of the gem that's on their third eye. And it's funny because it is associated to royalty. You know, when we get the ruby energy, that's always connected to a connection that will stand the test of time, and something that has deep passion, love, and loyalty to, honor and nobility. And so this is what they want to stand for. This is who they want to move towards. And it's also, you know, from a self-respect point of view, they're wanting to do this the correct way for all involved. Again, I don't get this feeling that they're wanting to, what would I say, delay decisions. I don't get that at all. I get this context relating to the past position, that it's almost that it has been their undoing, even though they might have tried to come through with a particular connection in a very traditional way. They're also referencing that it takes two to tango, and they do feel this person hasn't shown up in that fashion. And that has been a deep frustration for them because they had shown up with the intent to do it that way. But they're also feeling if they had just directly picked the correct person, this potentially would have flowed a lot more effectively. But they do know that they did have a lot of healing. And because of that reason, they're trying to get creative where it does come to solutions. They're racking their brain at this point, and they just do feel there's a lot of external influences, a lot coming at them. And this white noise has sort of made them feel quite dizzy. Yeah, they're really looking at connections and what they mean. And for them, again, this connection is not really matching their viewpoint of what they thought they were going to have. And they keep referencing two's company, three's crowd. This is a tension point that's really building. And as the week progresses, I do feel it can be where they're actually enjoying being out and about over being physically within this realm with this direct person, because it's just almost like they need to create some distance to make a solid choice. Okay, is this the divine masculine severing this cord? And we'll ask that first. Don't go too far. Yes, regardless of tradition and values, it's almost like they're forced to, their hands forced. What is the external circumstance, please? Forcing this individual to make that choice. What is it? Yeah, they feel this is going nowhere, and they also feel in order to bring some sense of consistency into their life where it's more manageable, more, what would the word be? Yeah, it's more in alignment with who they are. Yeah, especially whoever they end up with now. And this is their statement. It needs to feel as though it's tribe and family. It needs to feel like they have history. For some, it could be that you are hearing this. There is maybe a text message. There could be some sort of declaration that somebody is making to you. And I also feel for many of you, your intuition is very high. So really listen to it, because it can be that you're receiving synchronistic messages through angel numbers, animal totems, or other. They're also feeling as though they need to put other people's feelings aside, even though it isn't that they're going into things trying to be nasty. They just feel that this has really been an excuse point of not actually putting their foot down with circumstances. And I do feel for some they have reached the end of their tether. They're also believing as though they're tired of being the mature one in situations and others not pulling their weight. So they're basically saying to themselves they're going to forgive themselves for having, negative feelings, negative thoughts. It is about removing this person, and they do really believe they're going to feel a heck of a lot different on the other side, where they can have more emotional freedom, so they can walk their truth and they can get to the divine feminine. Now, we will check in with this again next week. If you do want a private booking, you can directly go to our website. The public super chats will be advertised online at YouTube. You can find anything that's scheduled via our live tab. And very separately, if I am on a live and I am free, I'm happy to do super chats after any sessions. We do have our Sage Inner Circle network up now. You can actually register via our website. All the links are directly below for sign up for the waitlist. Otherwise, I will see you next week, and feel free to share some of the dynamics that are going on with inside the twin flame path. Take care, and I'll see you soon.